Hey, so you have watched the video, hopefully, on the introduction to TP-CASTT, a protocol used to analyze poetry. If you have not seen the first video, please watch that one before you watch this one. For this video, we are going to practice the protocol with a poem called Dreams by Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes is an important poet to know. He is the most prominent person probably in the Harlem Renaissance, and is very, very well respected as a writer. So this video is going to have us practice with his poem called Dreams. Dreams. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is a broken-winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for when dreams go, life is a barren field, frozen with snow. So please stop the video here. Take a few moments, write some notes in your notebook for each step of the TP-CASTT protocol. So you should jot down a little note for each one of those somewhere in your notes, and then at the end of this lesson, you will turn that in. So please stop the video, read the poem, and analyze it. Okay, so hopefully you have now read the poem and analyzed it, and I'm going to show you what I came up with. So when I look at the title, before I read the poem, I thought two things. The first, it could be about actual dreams, the kind you have when you're sleeping, but that wouldn't be very interesting. And from what I know about Langston Hughes, he wouldn't necessarily go that route. So it's probably about something that the speaker hopes will happen in the future. So that's what I would have put for my first piece of the title. Paraphrase. This is a really short poem, so it's easy to paraphrase. This is what I came up with. First stanza, don't ignore your dreams, because if you do, they won't come true. And then the second stanza, don't forget your dreams, because life is empty without them. You could have come up with something different. Paraphrase is very subjective based on how you read the poem, but this is what I came up with. C, for connotation. So looking the language that's being used, the read between the lines. This is a really short poem again, so there's not too much. But I found some personification. Dreams die and dreams go. Dreams are not actually a living thing, so they can't do anything. So this makes the dream feel more real. There's a few metaphors in there. He compared dreams to a bird and then compared life to a field. The point of view is interesting because it is second person, meaning the speaker is talking directly to us as a reader. We can infer from this that he's trying to maybe give us some advice. There's some end rhyme with die, fly, and go, snow. And then there is the repetition of the phrase, hold fast to dreams, which tells me that that is the most important thing he wants us to think about because he put it in there more than once. Which leads to the attitude. So the speaker could be anyone. There's not a lot of specifics about who it is, when they're writing, how old they are. We could probably infer from the language that they are older, but there definitely seems to be a feeling like this person is worried about losing a dream, and they are providing some words of caution, right? It's not a happy, fun poem, but it's not necessarily sad. I would say it's a poem of caution. S is for shift. This poem is really short, and so there isn't a big shift between the beginning and the end, but I would argue that the two different stanzas, which are each one sentence apiece, they do kind of transition from one idea to the next. The first is the metaphor about the bird, and then the second is a much more serious metaphor about life and a barren land. So the bird was injured in the first one, but the last stanza is very, very serious. So I would say there is a small shift between those two pieces as he gets more serious. And then we go back to the title again. Now that we've analyzed it, we've read it. And I'd say, yep, it was most definitely about looking towards the future. Nice title. Pretty straightforward. That one makes sense. So I can definitely see why he chose that title. And then if I was analyzing this poem further, I would mention the fact that it does make sense, because he is talking about dreams, and dreams can be interpreted different ways, which is also an interesting play on words. And then the final step is theme. We've looked through it, we've read it, we've thought about all the pieces, and I came up with life is empty if you were not dreaming about the future. You could have come up with something different. Theme is also very subjective, but at the end of the day, you should come up with some sort of message that's being sent from the poet to you. I hope this video was helpful in reviewing the protocol, TP-CASTT, and then I hope that you got some ideas about how that works going through here. If you came up with different information than me, that does not mean that you are wrong. Remember, analyzing literature and poetry is very subjective, meaning it's different for every person. What's important is that you back yourself up. So as we start to write about poetry, make sure you run through this protocol, but then also think about adding the next step, which is, this is what I think, and here is why I think it. Here's the evidence from the text. Here's the context outside of the poem that I'm thinking about. So I hope this is helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions. This is the end of the first lesson for this week. Please turn in your notes from the first video, turn in your notes from this, and then at the very end here, I've also asked you to write a little reflection about this process. So how did this go? How is TP-CASTT working for you? Is this helpful? Is this crazy talk from Mr. Noble? Did you have a good time analyzing the poem, or was it a disaster for you? So a little bit of reflection. Put those 3 things on a document or take a picture in your notebook and send those off, and then head into lesson number 2, which is going to ask you to do some more poetry analysis on your own. Let me know if you need help.